In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up MCPs inside of Claude. So if you've been using Claude for a while and you want to go a little bit more advanced, you've probably heard the word MCP, which basically just means it's a tool that you can connect to inside of Claude. Send emails, update CRMs, any tool on the internet. Most tools have MCPs these days. So most of the different softwares that you use on a daily basis, you can connect them here. I'm just going to make it as easy and simple as possible to understand, even if you're a complete beginner. If you don't know who I am Ethan Nelson, built and sold over $200,000 worth of AI systems in the last year, and recently I've been deep diving into Claude for building your personal operating system, and one of the important parts of that is MCP. So let's dive right in. You're going to open up Claude Desktop. This is very important, not Claude in your browser. You're going to make sure you have the desktop app of Claude installed on your computer, and you're going to open that. There is a way to install MCPs in the browser version, but I'm going to start the way that MCPs were initially built was inside of the desktop. So I'm going to show you how to do that first, and then I'll show you the different ways to set it up, right? So you're going to go down here to settings, and MCPs are connectors. So if you see these connectors inside of Claude, these are the exact same things as MCPs. Claude just kind of like pre-built some of them for you to make it easy. So you can just sign into Google Drive, Notion, Gmail, and you can click Browse Connectors here, and you can see the web connectors, which will work in your browser. So we have, Figma, Indeed, Monday.com, all these different things. You have desktop, which will only work on the desktop app. And then you have custom ones, which I'll show you how to add. So sometimes, the one that you want is not in this list, and that's when you'll need to set it up custom. And so what we'll do is we'll go to this developer thing, this tab down here. We're going to click Edit Config. It's going to show you this file. And what you're going to do is you're going to open it with text edit. And so it's going to be blank, or it might have something that looks like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this up, right? So let's say we go and search on the internet, and maybe we search the Appify MCP, right? Appify is like a scraper tool, if you've never heard of it. You get a lot of the tools on the internet, they will have MCPs because this is how the AI interacts with them. And so just search the name of your tool, MCP, and I'll show you an MCP basically marketplace where you can discover new ones. I'll actually show you right now. It's called Smithery.ai, and there's a bunch of different ones of these. But you can view all the servers. You can see like tons of different MCPs. Weather, financial modeling, sequential thinking is actually one of my favorites. And there's a bunch of different ones we can add, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we're gonna find one here, and it will kind of give you the different integrations, right? Claude Desktop, Claude Code, Cursor, etc., etc. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on Claude Desktop, and it's gonna give you this right here. What you're going to do is copy that. Some might need an API token, so we could just search Appify API token, and once you sign into your account, you'll be able to find that token, right? And so it's going to be different on every platform, but you just search it, whatever the name of the software is, API token, and you'll be able to find that token. But for this one, we're going to copy this. We're going to go to this file, and we're going to paste this in here. And so this is the MCP server, Appify, and then we're going to paste this token in here once we get it. So now if we click save, if we go back to Claude, we're actually going to quit, and then we're going to open Claude again. You actually have to like restart Claude for it to start working. And now if we go in here, oops, didn't mean to do that. If we go into the settings, we can see that inside of the connectors, we will have Appify as a connector, right? So inside of here, we have Appify now, right? And it's running. So this MCP was just connected. We can now, do different things with Appify because we added in here. Now, what I want to show you is one of the problems that you'll probably run into, right? Especially if you're not technical. Let's say we want to add some more MCPs. So maybe we have this MCP called the Weather MCP, right? It gives us the weather. So here's a tool. It's called Smithery. This is the one I like the most, but there's a lot of different ones. And so what you can do is you go to the MCP, you go into Add to your client, then you're going to choose which one you're using. So you're using Claude Desktop, right? And then what you can do is you can install it using this, or you can install it using this server right here, right? And so there's going to be, so what you'll do is you'll click on the JSON. You're going to copy this, and then you're going to paste it. I'll have to reset this key. That's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and we're going to give it text edit, and then you're like, okay, now where do I paste it? Do I paste it here? do I paste it, here? Because this is what's called JSON. So like this open bracket is with this open bracket is with this one. So sometimes it can be hard to know where to paste it in. So simply just ask Claude, right? This is how I learned. You go in here into chats, new chat, and we couldn't attach to MCP server Applify. That's because I didn't put my token in. So just make sure you put your token in. But you could say something like, here's an MCP I want to add to my JSON file. Okay, and then you can say, here is my current JSON file text, the Claude config file. And then I'm going to go over here to the text edit. I'm going to copy this in. And then I'll basically just say add it, and Claude knows how to add it. So if I just say, here's one that I want to add, now add it, it's just going to create me a new one, and it's going to create it for you right here. So now I just copy this entire thing, and then I replace it with this, copy, paste, save it, and then I'm going to restart Claude Desktop. I'm going to quit, and I'm going to go to Claude again. Make sure I open Claude. And now the weather API will be, why does it keep doing that? I don't understand. Oh, it wants me to like sign into Applify or something. All right, so let's say, what is the weather today? Can you use the weather API or the weather MCP? I don't know why that didn't paste in. That's not pasting. There we go. This is called monologue if you're interested. So now it's going to try to access the weather API or the weather MCP. So boom. Let's look in Paris. Let's see if it calls the weather MCP now. Use the MCP. Oh, and then sometimes you have to toggle it on. So if you go down here, you should see the National Weather Service. Yeah. Use the MCP. It's called the National Weather Service. Oh, it says it's only in the United States. Okay, so let's look at Kissimmee, Florida. Alright, so it's trying to try to use that to find Kissimmee, Florida. And you can see, boom, it's using the weather API now. I'm going to allow it. And it's using, this is the MCP that we just installed. It's using that, right? So this is how you set it up on Claude Desktop. You have to update that file. You can ask Claude how to update it if you're not sure. And you're basically pasting in this text in there. So the next thing that we can do is we can actually set it up in a way where it can be used on the web version as well. So you can see, boom, it's 78 degrees. It's pretty freaking nice. The other thing we can do, if you go here, it wants a API key, so I don't want to, let me just find one. Let's go back to like crypto coin data. Interesting. Does this want an API key as well? No, it doesn't. So what we can do here is we can actually get a connection URL. So if I get this connection URL, this is another way to set it up. So now what I can do is I can go into settings here. This is the way that usually works inside of Claude web version as well. So I'm going to go to the connectors. I'm going to click to add a custom connector, and I'm going to call this the crypto coin data, and I'm going to paste this in here, right? So I'm going to paste this in here, and I'm going to click add crypto coin. And now you can see that it added this. It's disconnected, but it did add it correctly. And then we're going to click connect. And then it's basically just going to ask us to set it up inside of this tool called Smithery. I'm going to click connect. And then this is how you get it inside of Claude Web. So if I go into Claude on my web, let me just make sure this gets set up correctly. I believe it did. Now you can see here, crypto coin data. Can you use the crypto coin data tool to tell me what the price of Bitcoin is right now? Bitcoin is, you should buy some Bitcoin if you haven't already. Don't buy any other crypto. I worked in the crypto industry for a couple years. Most of crypto is a scam. Bitcoin is not a scam. But anyway, I got derailed. So, get the coin price. It's 109,000. So you can see now. Here's a new MCP. This one I can actually use in my web, because inside of the web version. But you can see here that if I go to the connectors, I have the crypto coin data, but I don't have any of the Claude desktop ones. So inside of Claude desktop, you can see the connectors. I have these National Web Service, Airbnb, Spotify. Because these are like more on my local computer, like let's say you wanted to access like local files or something like that. These are local ones, so they won't show up inside of the web version. But if you want to do set up the MCPs from the web version, you can just find this URL, right? And if I search something like MCP marketplace websites, if I search something like that, there's a lot of different ones. MCP market, boom, you see here's a bunch that you can set up. It's the same exact thing, bright data. And then you could set it up. You'd probably say something like try now. Oh, it's gonna basically route me to it. I wonder if there's one where we can feature it, Taskmaster. So this one I think is just gonna route you to irrelevant. Oh no, here we go. So you can see here, boom. That's the same thing that we just did. We set it up using that. Not all of them will have a web version, but you know, in the Claude desktop, you add this, you put the config file into Claude, and then you say, hey, can you add this in here? You're gonna have to find your API keys for this one. But that's kind of how to set it up. So MCP market, we have awesome MCP servers, same idea. You have these MCPs, it's gonna show you how to set it up, web data at scale for AI. And there's a lot of these different marketplaces, but that's really how you set it up. So you either added the custom connector and you find the URL, or you add it in using the config file, and you can find that by going to developer down here and then click edit config. You can right click, open with. You can open it with anything. You can open it with notes if you want. You can open it with text edit. You can see all these in here. And then you just add them in here, copy and paste that into Claude, say how do I add, you know, here's my current file, how do I add in this new one, and it will know exactly how to write the JSON for you. So that's really how you set up MCPs. I would highly recommend it. The Appify MCP is really good. I'll show you some of the MCPs that I have now. Sequential thinking is my favorite actually. So if I go here, this is my absolute favorite. Why did it not show up? Okay, so let me go to smithery.ai, and then you go view all servers, and then you go sequential thinking. And what this one does, it basically what it does is it like does a bunch of reasoning before it outputs it. And again, you can use this to set it up, or this. And then once you start asking it questions in Claude, so if I go back to Claude.ai, this should work in the web because I think I have it set up on the web version. Let's use sequential thinking to figure out what the future of AI looks like. I want you to play out different scenarios, and I want you to use sequential thinking to think through it more in depth. There's also one called agent debate, which basically means it creates opposing perspectives and then it argues with itself, which is kind of cool. All right, but let's see. I think I have the MCP connected. Yeah, sequential thinking. So you can see here, look at thought. Let me first start by identifying the key scenarios, right? And then it says how many thoughts does it need? It needs, it says it needs 25 total thoughts, right? So it does this, and then it's going to think through in a 25-step reasoning what the answer is before it gives you an output. So it just increases the quality, right? Then this one, here's the next one, scenario one. So rather than it just spitting out an answer right away, it's actually just thinking through and reasoning about things, which is a really, really cool use case. And I've been using this for about a month now, and it's transformed the quality of the output. So in short, that's how you set up MCPs. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to dive deeper into like some of the workflows that you can build out with MCPs, if you head on over to the community, I actually teach you how to build your entire life operating system inside, like using MCPs and workflows and skills and agents. And eventually you can actually use it inside of Claude Code as well, which I'd recommend even if you're not a coder. But you can go in here, there's all these tutorials. We do workshops, there's a community, and you'll be able to like learn some of the more advanced ways of using Claude Code, Claude Desktop, kind of building out your operating system for your life inside of Claude and connecting to all the different tools that you use, creating workflows, creating processes. But for now, I hope this was helpful for you learning how to set up MCPs. And I think that's it. Take care.